Hi there, these comments are for CJ, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And you completed integrated writing practice test number 8. So let us take a look at what you have written. So you say in this set of materials, the reading passage talks about, I would say here, the word how works better than that. Talks about how fast food restaurants contribute negatively to the health and diet of American citizens for 3 reasons. At this point, you need either a semicolon or a period so that you can avoid what's called a comma splice. Go to Google, type in the keywords, what is a comma splice, so you can recognize this. So on the other hand, the speaker discusses a misconception about fast food restaurants. What if you did this? We're just trying to be a little more concise. The lecture discussing the misconception about fast food restaurants thinks that people can keep a healthy lifestyle and diet by, remember, when you're using a preposition, you cannot use a verb directly after that. You have to use gerund. I'm going to say this. The speaker in the lecture discussing the misconception about fast food restaurants thinks that people can keep a healthy lifestyle and diet by controlling themselves. First of all, the reading passage says that fast food restaurants have long-term effects of obesity by providing fast and cheap food from fast food restaurant chains. The writer thinks that many people consume fast food on a daily basis. Again, you're using kind of a simple type grammar here. Thinks that many people who consume fast food on a daily basis have less time to have a sit-down dinner because of busy schedules and harsh economic times. Sit-down dinners are becoming a tradition of the past. However, in the lecture, the speaker poses the idea that fast food restaurants, I'm going to put here, are the only I'm going to say it like this, are the only cause of obesity. He claims obesity is also caused by an inactive, you need an adjective here, inactive lifestyle. Not bad. I think in this paragraph you have included the most important point, I think, from the reading passage and the lecture. Alright, let's go to the next one. Usually if you say first of all, then I would say second of all. And even here, I would say third of all, or I would say first, second, third. The reading claims that it. What does it mean? How about fast food establishments? Create an unhealthy society by plaguing the society with high cholesterol, diabetes, and heart disease. The writer thinks that the reason I'm going to make this a little more, thinks that society is unhealthy because of the limited options for fast food. Despite street food in countries like China and Mexico, you need which here? Put this down. You need to study, I think. If you go to my website, go to sentence variety. I think it's lesson number 26. You need to figure out how to combine your sentences, I think, more effectively, and particularly using adjective clauses. You notice how I'm using words like who and then which? So you have the writer thinks the society is unhealthy because of the limited options for fast food, despite street food in countries like China and Mexico, which provide options with vegetables and fruit. So, he thinks fast food advertisements. I don't think so works. I'm going to say in addition. You're not just creating a cause-effect relationship here, you're adding to the previous idea. The previous idea is the limited options that many fast food restaurants have for their customers in the United States, right? Now this idea is talking about fast food advertisements. This is another idea, so I'm going to say in addition he thinks fast food advertisements has helped junk food become a main part of the American diet. Conversely, the speaker disagrees with that. He claims that fast food restaurants this is where you're running into trouble. I'll be honest with you, this is killing your writing right here. This. You say the speaker disagrees. He claims that fast food restaurants did a good service for person. He says that we haven't created all options like apples for kids and adults. In addition, in the state of California and New York, the consume is more informal. Not really. You're not getting it right there. That is the problem here. So we're finding a problem with understanding the information from the lecture. So let's go to the lecture and clarify this information. This is where you're running into trouble. It says here, fast food chains do serve mostly fat and cholesterol-driven food, but we have now created options like apples or fruits for kids and more salad options. You also ran into trouble here. Also in states like California and New York, the calorie count of each menu item must be on the menu so the consumer is more informed. Right? So what did we learn from the lecture? The lecture is saying that there are more healthy options in fast food restaurants now than in the past, and that disagrees with a point in the reading passage. The lecture also says that some states, they have to display the calorie count of all the items on the menu so consumers can see how many calories they're actually eating. That you did not say here. So you will lose some points because of that. The information you've written here is actually not accurate. You had misrepresented some information from the lecture. All right, let's go to the last idea. Third of all, the reading passage claims that fast food restaurants promote gluttony. To explain this, he gives an example. Today, customers at fast food chains have unlimited free refills and consume a great deal of junk drinks. It used to be one soda, or you can say here one drink at a time in the past. Besides, you can just say here besides, and you don't have to worry about besides of this. Besides, the writer mentions that the large portions have even spilled over into sit-down restaurants. On the other hand, the lecturer maintains that fast food restaurants do not And you're getting it. You're getting close here. Do not use an adverb here. Do not necessarily promote gluttony. Why are we doing that? We're doing that here. We're using the adverb here because you have do and you have promote, so you have the auxiliary and the main verb. It's very common to use the adverb in between those. In addition, the speaker claims if we want to control I would say the speaker claims if we want to control our gluttonous ways, alright, let's take a look at this paragraph. I had to straighten out one of your sentences, so it took a while. So here we go. In addition, the speaker claims that if we want to control our gluttonous ways, we should control how much we eat and drink from fast food restaurants every day. He does not ask people not to go to the fast food restaurants. I'm going to say, but he suggests we should not be blind for fast food. Let me see what he says exactly here. So let's go back to the lecture. I don't know about being blind to fast food. I don't see that. He's saying one can overcome gluttony simply by not eating and drinking large amounts from fast food chains every day. We can still enjoy burger, fries, and a milkshake, but we do not have to consume them in such large amounts. You should say something like this, that we use self-control okay, I think we have that. In conclusion, although the reading explains 3 reasons about fast food restaurants, now your problem here is you have a mixed construction here. Where does this verb, where is the subject of that verb? It isn't in the sentence. Although the reading explains 3 reasons about fast food. What if you said 3 negative effects and then say this on the American people? That would work. So although the reading explains 3 negative effects about fast food on the American people, the speaker opposes the accuracy of the description of these traits according to his beliefs, research, and explanations. Not bad. Introduction's good. I think your conclusion's good. You did run into trouble. You had some language use issues, as I pointed out as I went through and corrected your essay. So that is going to bring down your score. But this is the biggest concern here, is you had some inaccurate information, right? So that will cause some trouble with your score. Okay, let's take a look. I think you're in the 3 range pretty comfortably here. Your response conveys an incomplete, inaccurate, or imprecise connection of the ideas in the lecture to the ideas in the reading passage. So you had some trouble explaining the information. You also had some language use issues, right? I almost wanted to give you 24 points, but I'm going to put you a little bit below that. I'm going to put you at 3.5 out of 5, or 22 points. out of 30. Now for the purposes of our TOEFL class, if we go to the syllabus and we go into page 9, we can take a look at your grade here. So 3.5 is going to put you at 82. So what can we say here about your writing? What we can say is generally you have a pretty good understanding, I think, of how to organize your ideas. You use what I call a compare and contrast type organization. It was logical, but you didn't accurately or completely explain the most important ideas in both the reading passage and the lecture. You had some trouble, not with everything, but with some parts of the lecture you had trouble explaining. And that's why I put you at the score that you did. All right, you also had a few language use issues.